Each year, hundreds of athletes call Sportsplex West home as they work to separate themselves from the competition through different programs geared to develop athletes to become the best that they can be. Sportsman Media will be starting a new video series to highlight all that is going on at Sportsplex. This series will do a deep dive into the baseball, basketball, softball, soccer, volleyball, and football programs, as well as the strength and recovery programs offered. Welcome to PlexCast. Hey, thanks for joining us for another week of PlexCast. My name is Jib Goyke with Sportsman Media, and today we'll be focusing on the Sticks baseball program. Today I'll be joined by Evan Romanchuk, who is the Sticks director and Spects national president. Evan, for those that don't know you, can you give a brief background on your playing career and how you got to become the Sticks director?
Yeah, so I grew up in Vancouver, Canada. A little bit different up there. I grew up as a hockey player. I started thinking, well, maybe I should play baseball instead of hockey. So I was a two-sport athlete, played both all the way through, played some junior hockey. Came pretty real when I started getting some scholarship offers for baseball. So kind of going through my playing careers with that, finished off with the Great Britain national team. I had a British passport through my mom. So I played in the 2009 World Cup, and that was kind of the swan song for me. The writing was kind of on the wall that, hey, like, this is it. So, I made a lot of good friends, gained a lot of knowledge, and then from there it was well, I want to give back to the game that gave me so many experiences.
Let's break down some of the different opportunities you have for the different age groups. Let's start with 3 to 5.
Yeah, so 3 to 5, obviously introduction to the game, right? A couple years back, we started what we called instructional T-ball. Really wanted to make sure that the fundamentals of learning how to throw correctly, how to catch, how to swing were put into place at a young age. So we started instructional T-ball where they come in and we run them through some basic drills and learning the game, strictly kind of for the kids to, get to know each other, make friends, but then go out there and learn the game together and have a lot of fun doing it.
What opportunities are available for kids 5 to 6 years old?
Kids ages 5 to 6, they become a little bit more coordinated, right? And there's some kids that understand the game a little bit more, and they're a little bit more in control of their body. So at that age, we go to instructional coach pitch. Again, very fundamental based, learning how to throw, proper, ground ball mechanics, fly ball mechanics. So our rookies program, which, started, I think about 5 years back, was a brainchild of Brad Kaufman and Jason Pearson. And they kind of saw, hey, at ages 7 and 8, hey, we had some select teams before, but a lot of those players that age group just needed to play more, right, and needed to develop more. So they, started a program that starts in January, and they start getting out there twice a week starting in January to really kind of build those skills up and the fundamentals to be ready come, hopefully April in the state of Iowa, right, with the weather, but to be able to go out there and compete against other teams at ages 7 and 8 once April hits. So they practice twice a week, and they get a little bit more advanced, right? 8U's coach pitch. So at 8U, they start to get an introduction to pitching and pitching mechanics. Again, Jason, best in the biz. Being able to pass along his pitching knowledge. And then they learn how to compete a little bit, right? They'll take some lumps, and, that's part of the game too, right? You can learn just as much from a loss as you can in a win. It's not a win at all cost mentality. It's a long-term development plan that we start, at a very young age.
What do you have available for the 9-12 range?
So there's different options, right? Because not everybody is going to be as physically developed or played as much at that age, right? There still might be somebody that falls in love with baseball at age 9. Right? You don't know at those younger ages what you're going to be passionate about. So at that age, you start to see a little bit of kind of separation with the different levels. So we have our select program, which obviously is for players that, really want to take it seriously and learn to play the game at a high level. And, are able to get that development, that program being ran by, JC Baxley and Jason Pearson. They do a tremendous job of getting the players ready and teaching the game the right way. So we have our SBA program, which Sticks Baseball Academy, and that's really that's for players that maybe if I hadn't had as much experience or maybe not as ready for the higher level of competition, but still want to learn how to compete, still want to go out there and have fun with the game of baseball and have an experience that's lifelong, right? And that's what we're trying to do, is build lifelong baseball fans, right? Or lifelong baseball fanatics. And the SBA program's been great, where you see a player like Anthony Watts, who started in our SBA program, wasn't great at the younger ages, but had a heck of a year at Creighton, was their Sunday starter this past year, and is now transferred to the University of Iowa. So it doesn't matter where you start, whether it be an SBA or you're ready for select, we're going to give you the tools to succeed as a baseball player, learn to love the game, and go out there and compete. The high school prep level becomes a little bit more serious. That's when our enhancement program starts. So the biggest difference that you would see between the select program and the high school prep program is we're going to really start to concentrate on the measurable numbers, right? Like I said, we started that enhancement program back in 2014, and around 2016 is when we decided to start the high school prep program, to where players can come in and really kind of focus on the individual skills still inside of the team concept. You've got to become better in the weight room. You got to become bigger, faster, stronger. All of those things to develop not only as a baseball player, but develop a work ethic for the real world. So I think that's something that our coaches, and again, JC Baxley, Zach McCool, Nolan Fredericks, they run that prep program, and I think that's where the players that truly want it start to really develop. The Spects Iowa starts at age 10. And is selected from the Iowa Sticks players, right? And we're trying to put forth the best talent that we can to go compete at a national level. And that kind of continues through prep. And we have Spects Iowa at 13, and at the age 14 is when Spects National kicks in. So I want to be able to go down to the 14U WWBA down in Florida. I want to be able to go out to the PG World Series in Atlanta, and really test yourself against these players. Hey, I want to push myself, and I want to become the best player that I can be. Again, focusing on the time zone, we know that all of these players have a different rate of development, and just because you're not ready for Spects Iowa or Spects National at age 12, they might be ready for it when they're 17. So we have that for players to really, hey, this is the steps forward. These are the steps that you need to follow to be able to play at the highest level. The brotherhood and competition really starts to kind of kick in with our high school program, and giving them the opportunities to get in front of college coaches, have college coaches come in and talk to them, explaining to them what college coaches look for. Since we started, we're over 400 commits, right? The percentage of high school baseball players in this country that go on to play college is under 10%. So the fact that, our rate of players going on to play college baseball inside of the Iowa Sticks being well above 90%, and that's what the scout program is getting you those looks for the colleges, but then also putting you on the path to achieve your goals. And then you go on to Spects National, which are, our guys that are projected to be Division I baseball players, right? That, hey, might have a look at the draft, right? We've had, been very fortunate to have players, go on to play professional baseball out of here. We really do truly care about our players and as them as a human being, and setting them forthright into the real world. Those are the things that really warm my heart, and why I have such excitement coming to work every day, and seeing the success stories, and being able to watch that, and how cool it is to see players that come in here, work hard, be rewarded, just not in baseball but in the real world.
That's all we have time for today. Thanks, Evan, for showing parents and athletes the pathway for the Sticks. And we'll see you next week on PlexCast. PlexCast is brought to you by Sportsplex West, Sportsman Media, and Sportsman Solutions.